Welcome to A Changed Life. This is a podcast about choosing differently, how you think, how you relate, and how you lead yourself. Here we focus on the inner shifts that create real momentum and open up what's possible next. You might not be in a hair on fire crisis, or maybe you are. Maybe things aren't exploding out of control, but they're not exactly working either. Maybe your life looks fine from the outside, but inside, you know you can't keep living at this level. There's more in you, and that knowing is starting to get louder. This podcast is for when you realize you don't want to wait for the next crisis to give yourself permission to grow. Because yes, sometimes it does get darkest before the dawn. Sometimes loss wakes us up. Sometimes betrayal cracks us open. Sometimes burnout or a health issue forces a reset. But what if you didn't have to create your next chapter from your weakest moment? What if you could build what's next from clarity and strength and from vision instead of from collapse? That's why A Changed Life exists. I created this podcast because I've seen something over and over again, not only in my own life, but in the lives of the people that I work with. Most people don't change until they're forced to. They wait until the relationship breaks. They wait until the job ends. They wait until their health declines. They wait and wait and wait until they can't tolerate their own patterns anymore. And while crisis can absolutely wake you up, it is not the only path to growth. You can choose evolution before collapse. You can choose expansion before everything burns down. I have reinvented myself more than once, not because my life was always on fire, because I could feel when I had outgrown something. There were seasons in my life of betrayal. There have been seasons of self-abandonment. There were seasons where I was living below my own capacity. And there were also seasons where nothing was technically wrong, but something in me knew I wasn't fully aligned. And what I began to understand is this: changing your life doesn't mean something is wrong with it. It means you're alive. Nature evolves without any shame. Seasons change, trees shed, light shifts. Growth is natural. Stagnation, it isn't immoral, but it is limiting. And so many people confuse stability with fulfillment. They confuse fine with aligned. They confuse familiar with safe. This podcast is for people who know they're capable of more. It's for people who know they've abandoned themselves somewhere along the line. It's for people who feel the quiet pull towards something more, but don't want to blow their life up to get there. It's for the seekers. It's for people who don't want to live the same decade twice. It's not just for women, and it's not just for couples, and it's not just for people in crisis, and it's not for everyone. So if you're looking for quick fixes and blame, or someone to tell you that it's all someone else's fault, this probably won't feel comfortable. Because here, we're going to talk about responsibility, not blame, responsibility, and there is a difference. There is no shortage of healing content in the world, but a lot of it stays focused on the wound, endless processing, endless revisiting, endless explaining. We will acknowledge pain here, but we will not organize around the pain. We'll talk about trauma responsibly. We'll talk about nervous system regulation. We'll talk about identity. We'll talk about manifestation, but not in the magical, mystical way. Because here's the thing. You can't get there, wherever your there is, from here. You have to inhabit there, here. You have to believe before you see, and that doesn't mean pretending. It means aligning your internal state before demanding different external results. In every episode, you can expect a shift in perspective, a practical application, a question that stretches you, something usable, not just insight, because knowledge alone doesn't change you. Experience does. And my goal is that this becomes a space where you don't just think differently, you become different. A changed life doesn't happen all at once. It happens when you start keeping your word to yourself, when you regulate instead of react, when you stop waiting for disaster to justify growth, when you choose to evolve from clarity instead of chaos. If something inside you nodded while you were listening, stay. If you feel that restlessness inside, stay. If you know you're not done becoming, stay. Because here, at A Changed Life, we're just getting started. If something in today's episode resonated with you, you'll find a link in the show notes to book a free consultation call. Or you can visit IlyseCraft.com to explore my programs and free resources. Nothing changes until you do. And when you do, everything does. This is A Changed Life. Not all at once, but for good.